All right. Usually I can hide behind the screen because I work from Spain, but now I'm kind of exposed, so please bear with me. All right. We were indeed asked by Annie from UX Belgium to dive into the digital market. What is happening? What are people seeing? And what can we kind of recommend you to do to keep on top of the market and to kind of navigate through the uncertainties that are currently kind of there in the market? So what can you expect from us today? Of course, who are we? Might be good to introduce ourselves a little bit. The research that I've done in the market, I'm going to explain that to you as well. And then my colleague Jeroen, who's here behind the wood, will explain to you what community building and learning and development can do for you in times of uncertainty. And then Bram will explain about the UX community we have here at Ariad. All right, let's start with who are we? So I'm here with my colleague Geleyn, who is the CEO of Ariad, and with Bram, who is a UX consultant at TotalEnergies to Ariad. And my name is Marleen, and I work as a UX recruiter at Ariad. And Ariad is a digital staffing and consultancy firm, mainly focusing on jobs within digital marketing. And then myself, I focus on the ones in the digital design realm. And these are my other lovely colleagues who might be watching online. And this was at the 10-year anniversary party we had in Brussels in June. But I'm not here to talk about how great the party was and how happy we were to indeed be 10 years on the market. But I'm here to walk you through the research that we have done, starting with desk research. What can we find online? What do other people say? And then I walk you through a survey that we have done, which maybe some of you even filled in because I posted that survey in the UX Antwerp channel. So I'm going to walk you through what do people see and how can you navigate the uncertainties that we are currently facing. So let's start with the desk research and let's maybe take a step back to 2022 because that's when I was in the company for half a year. And then I saw that there were a lot of opportunities. There was a boom of jobs. And why was that? Well, I also read it online why that was, because after COVID, during COVID, companies needed to be more digital. Because, all right, people wanted a more omni-channel commerce, omni-channel experience. And then what you need? You need a great customer experience. So then, indeed, you have to find UX experts who kind of guide you through that and who can make sure that the product that you create is good and used, that people want to stay there and indeed buy your product. So, what we see here, unfortunately, it was very difficult to find data on Belgium. That's why we did the survey. But on the global level and in the US level specifically, we indeed see that there was a boom in 2022 and that indeed there was a decrease in job opportunities in 2023, so this year. And we have done a salary survey at Ariad as well, where we asked, okay, how do you feel about the market? And of course, I read online that there seems to be market saturation. There was a boom, the boom is gone, and it's just to continue kind of business as usual. And then there's also hesitance from organizations to hire people, spend budget on, for example, externals, because there's the fear of the recession and what that's going to do to the company. And then we've also noticed that there were budget cuts at some companies. And then from the desk research, and I would say also my own experience, I would say keep learning, keep adapting to the market. Okay, what's hot on the market? What kind of facets of the design process are in right now, and what can you kind of teach yourself? So kind of connecting to the talk you just did. But all right, this is what I read online, what I've heard. But I think it's interesting to dive into what you said. So let's start with the demographics. We had 59 responses to the survey. And then just over half of the respondents is working on a freelance basis. And just below half of it is working as a permanent employee at an organization. And then on average, people had 10 years of experience, but there were also outliers to people with 20 plus years of experience actually, and also juniors just starting in the field. And then what was interesting to me actually is that most of the respondents were telling me that they have a more general skill set, meaning that there were people who indeed have the classical UX UI combination, but even also UX researchers doing user interface design, which makes them maybe even more employable in times like this. Then it's good to indeed dive into the question that I really wanted answered. How do people see the market? How many opportunities do they see? And are there enough opportunities for them to apply for? This is also a question I asked during the conversations I have with candidates. Okay, are there interesting opportunities for you? Are you having troubles finding a new position? How can I support you? And what was interesting is that indeed around 45% of the respondents said there were less opportunities in 2023 when comparing it to 2022. But I think most interestingly is that there was almost 40% who said that there were the same amount of opportunities seen in 2023, which kind of doesn't resonate with the feeling that some people have. But okay, how is that then? So I also asked in the survey, what do you feel, what do you see? And then what was mentioned often is that the opportunities that were there were not fitting with the expectations of that specific person. So maybe a UX researcher is looking for, well, a UX research job, but then the only jobs they see are in UX and UI. So that there was kind of a mismatch between what they're looking for and indeed what was there. And I have a specific example because, of course, I don't only look at the quantitative data, but I also have conversations with people on a daily basis. Then there's a specific example of a well-seasoned designer who has been in the field, I would say 15 years, and he always had consecutive assignments, always good assignments. His budget was cut on his project, so that kind of came out of nowhere. Then he said, Marleen, I've never had to look for an assignment myself. I don't know what's happening. And then I asked him some questions, trying to understand why that is. Then he indeed explained, I don't see anything fitting. There is something, but it's just not to my likings at this moment in time, which is all right. You can do a job you love. But I think that's the main takeaway. All right, be open-minded. Maybe there is a job that doesn't fit your wishes or your expertise 100%, but that could indeed keep you on the market, keep you on top of things, and to help you develop and grow in a sense. And also to maybe explain the more junior side on things. I had quite some comments also from people who are more on the junior side. And one of them mentioned, I've been applying for a long time, 60 plus applications, but I finally found my job. So also don't give up hope. There is something. So just keep on looking and keep on exploring and seeing what can be done. So then to indeed conclude what I've just mentioned, interestingly, a similar amount of opportunities was seen by 40% of the respondents, but also less opportunities in the Belgian digital design market. And I think the main thing and the main takeaway which should be, okay, it's mostly about fitting opportunities. Companies are asking more and more about 4 generic profiles that can do from A to Z design, but that's sometimes not what you're looking for. But all right, stay open-minded, ask questions. What are they exactly looking for? What projects do they have going on? And what can I learn and what can I bring? That's sometimes also interesting to take into consideration. And then in general, the market does seem saturated, meaning that the boom is gone and okay, things are going business as usual. And there's also some candidate competition on the market, so there's maybe less opportunities, but there's more people looking. So kind of see how you can set yourself apart, and that's where the end comment kind of comes into play. Keep on top of the market, keep on top of the trends. What new tools are there? What can I teach myself? And how can I keep myself employable in general? And of course, I want to end on a positive note. There was a really nice quote actually from one of you, from one of the respondents, that was mentioning, okay, tech development, it keeps being there. And that makes also that there's a need for high quality digital design. Customer experience is of course always very important because otherwise you lose your customers. So the mission of UX is undeniable, will continue to grow. And that's why I want to mention one more time, don't give up hope, see how you can grow and learn. And I think that my colleague Jeroen can also share more on that topic. Right.
Thank you, Marleen. You nailed it. I know it was a bit out of your comfort zone, let's say, taking your first steps on the stage, but shall we applaud her? Well done, well done. So she just went for an individual challenge and she took it, and now she experienced being part of something because she got some reward and support back. Huh? So when we look at challenges as survival, sometimes it helps to put things more into extreme, like what if we are at war, not finding a job? What if we are really surviving? And for some people it's a reality, even financial survival. What helped people over centuries and centuries to survive? Who were the survivors? Who can tell me? What distinguishes persons with a higher chance of survival versus those with a lower chance of survival? Adaptability, for sure. I'm looking for something else, but it's true as well. Sorry? Consistence. Adrenaline, yeah. Commitment. Curious. Think back in the very old ages when it was dangerous outside. And the oertijd, I don't know how you say that in English. The Stone Age. Nomads. Those parts of a community had a much higher chance of survival than those alone. So if you're part of a community, you have people who defend you, who support you, you feel accepted, you feel safe, you find a partner, you make children, you flourish, you grow. Oh, romantic. So why do I mention it? After 10 years, Ariad, we want to give something back. And we really want to invest in community. And we don't only want to invest in community for people who are working for us, we want to invest in a broader sense. And we're looking for ways to reach out to people like you, and more general, the digital customer experience experts. Because we talk with human beings all day. To how many people do you talk in a week, Marleen? 20, 30? I think there's even weeks when you talk to 50 people. Eh? And so we kind of know how humans work by now. And providing them with such an environment of a community, we see them really flourish. And that makes us happy because we're humans at Ariad. And so let me share a little bit on how we do that. I shouldn't show this. My marketing team will kill me for this, but this comes straight out of our brand Bible. It says, Ariad will empower your growth, offer unparalleled opportunities to excel in collaboration with leading companies. You'll find a place where you belong within our vibrant community of digital customer experience professionals, the perfect setting and environment for those who want their expertise to shine, evolve, and make a lasting impact. So when we started Ariad, our main mission was to get you on a mission, work for a leading brand, have an exciting project. But we're expanding our service or our value offering to you. And there's two elements that we want to offer or add in the future, already starting today. It's empowering your growth and providing you with a place of belonging. Okay, buzzwords, but we'll hear some concrete examples from Bram in a minute. Professional development. Also, people not actively working on a project, we want to invite them as of today to professional development opportunities. Why? We just love to see people who take their development seriously, and we like to create the setting. So there will be more and more invitations going out to a broader audience to get you into environments where you can learn. Just to give you two examples, we're working with a Strengths Finder program, identifying your top 5 strengths, and then you're being challenged by a coach who helps you understand, are you using them? This is one example. And then the other one is belonging. There are some psychologists in the room, I'm sure. I know of at least of one. Is there more psychologists in the room? So think back, when you were trying to survive in the Stone Age, your brain was being developed, and so your brain taught you, I need to belong to a group, otherwise I will die. And we still have that brain. So your brain is still telling you, make sure you belong to a group. And so the desire to belong to a group is visible in the brain in the same area where you crave for food. Can you imagine? When you're hungry, when you're craving for food, there's activity in your brains in the same area where you feel the need to belong, to be accepted. On the other side, if you're excluded from a group, if you're pushed out, not accepted, this experience in the brain is where you experience physical pain. So very interesting. Our brain goes back to the Stone Age, and so being part of a community is we're really wired for that. I think we can listen now to some examples to show you how we are putting this into action, and hopefully it inspires you. And please come to us to learn more. I know there's some people in the room who were recently on one of our experiences, and they'll happily share the feeling they still got from that. I see them nodding.
All right. Thank you, Jeroen. So I'm Bram. I'm a UX designer at Ariad. I'm going to talk a bit about the UX community. So at Ariad, we have a lot of different communities depending on where you work with. I'm part of the UX community because, of course, I'm a UX designer. What we want to do is we want to create, it will sound a bit cliche and cringy, but we want to create a kind of a family. We want to, we will go to events together. We try to do as much together and really create a sense of community. We have our lovely Papa, Sasha. He's sitting right there. He's organizing everything. He's doing the most for our community. So every community at Ariad has like his own Papa figure, let's say, like his who does everything for us. And the cool thing is, because I have 4 years of experience now, but I joined when I only had 2, so I was still pretty junior. I'm still pretty junior. But the cool thing is, for example, if I go to him or I have a question or I don't know how to do some kind of UX method or I don't know how to solve a problem, I go to Sasha and then he says, okay, look, or he can solve it or he sends it out to other people in the community. And that way, I first have a problem that I couldn't solve myself. I call for help to the community. And I have suddenly like 5 senior designers helping me push my project, pushing my methods, learning, helping. It's for a junior guy or girl, sorry, it's amazing. You have like a lot of senior guys helping you. It's really cool. So what we try to do as well, of course, you can always WhatsApp and say, okay, I have a problem, but it's cooler if you can meet in real life. So what we try to do as much as possible, if Ariad allows it, we go to as much events as possible. So, for example, a few weeks ago was a smashing conference. We went with a group of 5 people, evil people who are not actually with Ariad, but just who want to be part of the community and join us. So it was really cool to actually meet new people and be really engaging with those people, trying to talk to them, okay, what are their lessons, for example, and then really going to the event. Here, as you can see, the girl on the right, Miriam, she was there. She was not part of Ariad, but it was so fun that now she's part of Ariad, of our community, because she liked us so much. And then some other events we do, it's after working hours, we take a drink, or we do some beer tasting. So it's not always about design or really UX. It can be just to have fun and to know each other a bit more. It can be an event about beer, or it can be can be an event about something else. It's really trying to create a community and trying to really know each other. And if you need help or you need support, you can go and just ask for it. It's really cool. Some other things we try to do as well is, instead of having a beer, we try to do something like this. And we also try to make some knowledge sharing sessions, we call it. So, for example, here, it was, I forgot his name, I think Thierry. And he was explaining us a bit about how UX and storytelling are actually a love story. It was on Valentine's Day, so for people who didn't have a date, they could go to our UX meet and actually learn a bit about UX storytelling, which was really cool. Then again, we were drinking here again on the rooftop. So we just try to build a community, build as strong as possible, and really, create something cool. Here again, we were drinking as well. As you can see, I think that the red line is we like to drink and create fun. And also, if you need help, we are there as well. And to be honest, for me, the UX community, that's a bit it for me. It's not about Ariad just sending your invoice and getting paid. It's really creating, again, the sense of community, the sense of a family, people who can help you, who can guide you, especially if you're not that advanced in UX or in design. There are people who are more advanced and who can actually help you, which is really, really cool, especially if you're just starting. So for me, that was one of the most important things that I learned at Ariad. So for me, I think that was a bit my part. If you have any questions about the UX community, you can go to Papa Sasha in the back there in the blue, and he will he will help you and he will teach you a lot.
I won't be your papa. We're going to be your friend.
Voilà, and I think you can round up. That's it. From our talk, I hope you learned something. I don't know if you want to say something more.
I also want to tell the UX Beers community, we are here to support you. We're not here to compete. So we believe in community. And so we are here to also develop that mission to help people understand, yes, please be part of a community. And you can be part of more communities in parallel in life. Typically 2, 3, 4, 5 places where you find peers, certain interests. But think about how your brain was wired. People belonging to a community have a higher chance of survival. Thank you.
Okay, we keep it? Yeah, feel free to keep it. Questions? I have a few, but anything immediately come to mind? Yes.
Jeroen is leaving the premises.
Any questions? Yeah.
As recruiters, maybe this is going to sound stupid. What do you think about AI, and is it taking anybody's jobs?
It was. I actually put it in the slides, but I took it away because I cannot give a clear answer on this. I think it's still ongoing. I think it does allow for opportunities, and I think regulations will come to not harm any jobs. But okay, there are of course things happening on the market, but I cannot look in a glass ball and tell you, okay, next year in March, your job is going to be in danger. I hope not. But no, I took it out. But indeed, that's one of the worries and one of the questions. How is AI changing the landscape? Is it only on the positive side or also on the negative sides? And that's, I think, for the future to tell us. Yeah.
Other questions? I guess following on the AI question, you mentioned that there's a shift in terms of the market viability of different kinds of roles, maybe away from specialists and more towards a generalist profile. I imagine that AI also might have something to do with that in terms of streamlining certain parts maybe of the process. Could you share a bit more about kind of what you're seeing in that regard? Yeah. And if you have advice for folks who are thinking, well, I guess I'm back to the drawing board, need to build some skills.
Yeah. That was supposed to be in the presentation as well, but maybe because of my nerves, I forgot to tell it. Because last year, what you indeed saw was design system expert roles, UX research roles, and that was like design systems. I think we had maybe 7 roles that were asking for really experts in the field. And that kind of faded away, I would say. And what we see now is indeed the generalist roles. But is that because of the budget cuts? Is that because companies are scared? That they maybe want someone who can do it all? To have like the unicorn, which is, I know, a buzzword, but okay, that's what they're looking for. But that doesn't mean that it's going to change, that it's not going to change next year. I know that companies are drawing up their budgets as we speak. Mm-hmm. Who knows if they need a design system expert? Can happen. And I think that when time passes, maybe the fear and the hesitation goes away, and those specialist roles will come back because that's what they need. Maybe they don't need someone who can do it all, but someone who can do it with more quality. Not that a generalist doesn't provide quality, but maybe someone who really focuses on design systems or knows Figma very well can indeed do the job better than someone who touches upon everything and does everything some percentage at the time. Yes?
Building on that theme of generalization and specialization, is there perhaps something that Ariad has done in terms of segmentation? So you have companies that are perhaps more digitally or design mature, the types of roles that they might be hiring compared to ones that are less so. Do we have any trends there that maybe you've observed?
I think in general, we focus more on bigger organizations. So we work with big organizations, big budgets, who sometimes indeed look for the specialists instead of the generalists. But nothing specific, I would say, right, Jeroen? Like that is our target group because of what they're in general looking for.
Correct. We usually work for the larger companies, and they work more in boxes with specialists. And yeah, they're still in that thinking. Although, yeah, it's also a well-known term, T-shape. And so we do see still increasing demand for more T-shaped profiles. We also work with an academy called T-Shaped Academy, where we send our consultants to help to define a personalized program, like 10, 11 modules. Okay, you're an expert, but how can you broaden up some of the areas to make you more marketable? But the big companies will always work with specialists, at least so far, what I've seen in the past 5 years.
To summarize for those watching on the live stream, so it sounds like T-shaped is in high demand, having that kind of versatility, and also that the type of organization might determine the kinds of profiles they're looking for at this stage. So if you're not having much luck in one particular area, maybe expand your idea of where you want to be if you're dedicated to a particular skill set.
Correct.
Okay. Other questions? Oh, I'll repeat the question if you just want to
For
share.
people contemplating to go freelance, would you recommend it at this point in time?
Oof,
Okay.
that's a good
If you're
question.
contemplating freelance, is this the time to do it?
That's a good question. I think when you're ready, you should always look into taking the step. Think about what you will need as a daily rate, what you need in order to get by and to maybe also improve your financial situation. I would say, as we also saw in the survey, there are opportunities, maybe a bit less, but all right, that shouldn't scare you away. If you want to go freelance, then look into it, see what kind of roles are there, but it might be a bit more tough. But as mentioned, I don't know if something comes in tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we get an email saying, okay, we're looking for 5 UX experts. Okay, yeah, then of course go ahead, go freelance. Just be hesitant, have a backup plan, have a savings account perhaps. But it shouldn't scare you away from going freelance, I would say.
What's your main motivation to become a freelance?
It's not really for me, it's a general question.
I know those questions. My friend is wondering whether...
Yeah, and I would say in general, I think the past 2.5 years, I think the UX market in Belgium is quite freelance driven.
Mm-hmm.
So that could give you the leverage over permanent positions, I would say.
I guess one additional question I have, you mentioned a little bit about your growth trajectory,
Yes.
having joined a community. Do you have advice for those maybe like hitting a slower period, wondering what to do next, and in that position where maybe they need to ask for help and they haven't really had to do that before, and maybe navigating that discomfort? Could you share a little bit about if that's something you've
discomfort?
done?
To be honest, for me, it always came naturally. I think if you ask for help, you always get much more than you actually bargained for, let's say. If you don't ask for help, you will just be stuck. In my opinion, if you need help and you don't ask for it, it's like you have, for example, a broken knee or something. You don't go to the hospital. Yeah, you're stuck with you cannot walk. Yeah, it's so. Just ask for it. To be honest, it's not. I think we are now in 2023. We can ask for help to anybody. We don't need to be shy about it or anything. Just ask it to maybe more senior people or people who have more experience, and they will help you for sure. I think in our sector, for sure, they will help you.
Great. It's nice to end it on that note. So before we conclude today, I want to make sure to say a huge thank you to our speakers.
Thank you.
We would love to present you with our
Thank you.
UX Belgium patches.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to hand that to you off camera. It's been a real pleasure to have you here this evening. For those who are maybe navigating this tricky market and watching this more closely than we would usually, know that we are thrilled to have you be a part of this community, whether you are an industry veteran or brand new and just considering dipping your toe in the field in this kind of tumultuous time, I think, in many folks' opinion. We, as I mentioned before, always have an open call for speakers and are always looking to have folks who are eager to present. I think a couple key things in moments like this are you have to be able to certainly create value, which our first talk spoke to tonight, but then also to be able to communicate it. And to do that, having solid frameworks, to be able to talk the language of revenue, being able to connect with communities who can kind of help make you visible or share. That's something that we really try to support you in and are eager to facilitate. So with that in mind, if you are a veteran and you're interested in sharing a particular framework, that's a great proposal for a talk. If you're someone who's brand new and you're just thinking, I really should practice speaking up to some friendly faces so I can speak up better in meetings, that's okay too. We're happy to help you practice and be that friendly space for feedback and for growth, because that's really how we want to function in this community, and we recognize that that rising tide will lift all boats in the long term. So with that, thanks again to all of you who joined, to IO, our wonderful host tonight, who's made this great event possible for us before the end of 2024. If you're interested in our next events, check out our meetup page where you can find that workshop, and as well as our next Antwerp event at the end of the month. And our next Brussels event will be in 2024 in February. So it'll be a bit of a wait, but I hope to see you all there. Great. Thanks again.